everybody on the team isn't above anybody else. We're a team and we're functioning to work together. So as a leader of the team, I feel like my responsibility is to remove obstacles so that my team can function and be successful. So I kind of use this analogy of my job as a leader is to block and tackle so that my team can score.
Hey, MMT followers, Christina Fuges with MoldMaking Technology, and I am back with another MMT chat. My guest today is James Jergens, who is with Ascend Innovative Molds in Erie, Pennsylvania. And he
Yes.
is also an Editorial Advisory Board member for MoldMaking Technology. Hi, James.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Glad to talk with you again.
It is wonderful. I always like to catch up. All right, we've spoken a lot over the years, mostly about technology, because you
Uh-huh.
are definitely a technology lover and process and
Yeah.
order. But today we're going to talk a little bit about leadership and mentoring and to get a big update on your career. So let's dive right in. Let's talk about leadership. So you say that the future of leading the next generation of team members has to be different than when you grew up in the industry. So what do you
Yes.
mean by that?
Well, when I grew up in the industry, you had a toolmaker who had gone through his apprenticeship program, and he led jobs, and he knew every aspect of the process from grinding, milling, and there was like a hazing that went on during that process, and you had to go through that in order to earn your stripes to be a toolmaker. Well, things are different nowadays. The generation's different. You can't do the hazing like you used to. The next generation really doesn't do well with that type of thing. So they've the schools and everybody, colleges and stuff, they all kind of frown on that stuff, and tool shops can't react that way anymore.
So what does it look like? What is a strategy for changing that type of leadership?
Yeah, first, it's being a good leader yourself, being an example of how you want people to interact with each other. So, and then as a leader, when you do see things, address it. Make sure that everybody has a voice, that everybody has a voice and can be heard.
Mm.
Some of the best ideas come from some of the people who haven't been in the industry, but um, you have to nurture these guys and you have to help them come along. And with some of their technology that they've had was the phones in their hands most of their life, they understand technology and they just kind of, it's natural to them. Where now I was natural with technology coming up through my career, but we do live in our industry has a lot of technology, and so these guys can be really good at it as long as they know that they can be treated well during their training, and then that they can have a career with it.
So that's a nice segue into mentoring, because that's what it sounds like. And I know you say that mentoring actually comes out of good leadership. So in
Yes,
your opinion, what are the key aspects of a successful mentorship?
um, it's again like what you said. It's being a good leader, making sure that you help the team members have a path for their future, that they understand the why of what they're doing. That's what I found with some of the younger generation is if you help them understand the why of what they're doing, they're going to be motivated to help you hit that. So if you have goals that you've set for your team, like I usually have KPI that I have set, and I review my KPI with my team each week so that they understand this is the direction the company's going or the team's going, and we want to make sure that they help us get to meet our goals. It's a community environment so that they feel a part of something that's bigger than just them, that they're actually cared for, not just a number, or
Yeah,
that
I
they
love that.
will lose their job at some point. We have to make sure that they have that security.
Yeah.
So there's that. It's really just making sure that I've trained up my managers who may be managing the guys on the floor that, hey, let them have a pathway, let them have feedback, positive feedback, not the negative feedback of when I grew up in the industry. It's making things more positive, helping them be included, but also helping them find out, well, where do they fit in the process? So I found out like the day is kind of going away where a guy knows every aspect of the toolmaking process. Some guys are just they're CNC machinists. or they're tool makers, but they run a CNC and they're really good at that. Well, let them be really good at that. And the guys who can grind, let them be really good at the grinding. And it's just let them find their niche. The other thing is how do we find these younger generation? It's hard. I've tried trade schools. Trade schools are starting to get some traction again. But I think we're about 10 to 15 years too late for where we're at now. So the last guy I ended up hiring was the Centos delivery guy because he seemed smart. So as I'm going about my life, I'm always looking for tool makers. I'm always looking for, would this guy be good? And if they are, I approach them and tell them about tool making and invite them to come see the shop and just tell them, hey, this is the career that you can have.
You're doing good marketing. That's what you have to do. At that point, people are looking for that work ethic, and we can teach you what you need to know. But I hear that a lot. People are at restaurants, wherever they are, they're noticing, oh, that person would be a good fit for my company. I think he or she would have a knack for doing this within the company. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. That's where we are right now. So I think this is a good time to switch over to your new venture, because I think that's part of what you are hoping to accomplish with Ascend Innovative Molds. So why don't you tell us why it was created and what's going on there?
Okay, well, thank you. I created Ascend because I have such a passion for tool making, and I want tool making to continue to be relevant in the US. We have a lot of bombardment of outside influences on tool making, and I want to be able to support my customers here in the US. I want manufacturing to stay here in the US. Well, over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a significant amount of people in the mold making industry retire. A lot of skill is going to retire. Well, how do we continue to support the injection molding companies, the tool shops with that? And so that's why I created Ascend, so that I've got an avenue to be able to train new team members and then be able to support the customers. And through that, it's like what we talked about with the mentoring and the leadership of really doing what I say that I'm doing, and that is making sure that they're trained, they're mentored, that everybody has a voice, that they're respected, and just making sure that we take care of our customer. So one of my core values is people first. When I talk about people, it's going to be the customer, our team members, our suppliers, and then the community at large too. And then one of our other core values is giving back to the community. And then how do we facilitate all that? Well, we want to be a solutions-based company where we're offering a solution to our customer, and then just striving for excellence, just making sure that we have the integrity and the honesty behind what we do. And then part of that is making sure that everybody has a voice within the company to be able to help push the company along to meet our customers' needs.
Do you want to go a little bit into where the company stands today, and where are you in this process of building the company so you can build out the industry?
Okay, so right now I'm in Erie, Pennsylvania. Love living in Erie. It's a great place. So I've got some angel investors, and we're going to end up buying a tool shop. But in the meantime, I'm kind of going back to some of my roots and just helping molders and tool makers be able to use global tooling to be able to help facilitate their profitability moving forward.
So it's competing in that global environment and doing it the right way so it can benefit those here and those working within this wonderful mold making industry to keep things moving.
I absolutely love working in the tool making industry. I don't really know anything else, but it's a great industry. A lot of great people in this sector.
Well, no, the way I've gotten to know you, I think I first met you at an MPE when we were at a Cavalier Tool dinner, right? Met you and your son. I know your passion for the industry, your passion for technology. I know what motivates you. I'm excited to see where this goes. I want people who are listening in to stay tuned, because we will keep in touch to see how this all fleshes out. It's exciting. To me, anything new within this industry, starting something, right? That's what we need. Break down your philosophy on leadership.
Okay, so for me, leadership is something I've studied a lot through the years, and it means a lot to me. The first is leading by example, making sure that I'm showing my team what I expect them to do too. And then not asking them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself, whether that be putting reports together or even just cleaning the bathroom. Everybody on the team isn't above anybody else. We're a team and we're functioning to work together. So as a leader of the team, I feel like my responsibility is to remove obstacles so that my team can function and be successful. So I kind of use this analogy of my job as a leader is to block and tackle so that my team can score. So it's not just about me, it's about the team. With that, making sure that everyone has a voice. And then as a leader, I still have to put boundaries in boundaries and set strategy. That's just to help the team stay focused so that we can, as a team, be able to hit our objectives. The other thing, I want to give an example on just letting people have a voice and then setting strategy and boundaries. So I once had a shop foreman. He was new, so I did a lot of mentoring with him on how to be a leader. And one of the things he's like, he came to me one time and he goes, "Hey, should we weld this cavity block?" And I'm like, "What do you think we should weld this cavity block?" And he's kind of looking at me. He goes, "Well, you're the general manager. You're supposed to make this decision." I'm like, "But you're capable of making that decision, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can make the decision. So what would you do?" And so we kind of went around in circles with that. And I'm like, "Look, if it's under $3,000, make the decision. Go forward.
Take some ownership."
Yeah. And that gives you the ability to be agile and move forward and meet the needs. If you got to wait for me, because I'm busy too, don't wait for me. So we set some strategy and some boundaries so that he could move forward and he felt empowered to do his job. And I really think with some of the mentoring I'd done with him and his natural skills and abilities, he was really able to be successful in being a shop foreman.
Can you expand a little bit on the boundaries? Can you give an example? Was it just the cost involved? How you said if it's less than $300, what do you mean by boundaries?
$3,000, but
$3,000.
yeah, 3,000. Yeah, so it'd be cost. It could be timing. Okay, well, if we really have to move forward to make something to reduce the timing, yeah, I want to be a part of that. So I would just clearly communicate a boundary of timing, cost, but then there's also procedures. How are we going to go about as a team? How do we interact with each other? So there's different departments and how the work flows through the shop. But sometimes when you have an emergency or something, you got to pull out the stops. Well, that's when I expect to get involved, when there's an emergency and we have to get things through the departments. And then also on a normal day-to-day basis, the shop foreman is going to be pushing and pulling projects and moving things around the shop. They're capable of doing it. That's their job. But then when we have emergencies or we have something that's hot, that's then when I would get involved. And I would talk to him about it. We talk to the different department managers for the CNC, grind, EDM, wire, make sure that we all come together as a team and make a decision on how we're moving forward.
It makes sense to me because other than those circumstances, people need to make mistakes to learn. I mean,
Yes.
You have to go through those things. That's the best way, right?
And that was a hard thing for me as a leader, where I had to allow people to make mistakes and I had to allow people to do things their way and not my way. And that's a tough thing because I'm a very opinionated person and I want things done my way. But once I was able to relax and just let things go, I found that it went smoother because I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I've got a lot of smart people who work with me.
You surround yourself with good, smart people, right? That's a good leader. That's what it's all about, but it's not easy. Good luck and congratulations on this venture. And we'll just stay in touch so we can continue to tell your story.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate your support.
All right. And to everybody out there, for everything mold making and for more about James and Ascend, visit moldmakingtechnology.com. Stay informed and stay inspired.